webinar. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on emerging opportunities for real estate investment in Abuja. My name is Fifi Adesina. I'm an investment lawyer, and I will be your moderator for today. Now, when we talk about real estate in Abuja, we are not talking about land and buildings. We are talking about power. We're talking about positioning and long-term wealth creation. Abuja has indeed evolved beyond just being an administrative capital. You will agree with me. It has become a strategic investment hub driven by rapid urbanization and expansion, infrastructure development, and a growing demand for both residential and commercial spaces. But the steady rise of districts like Guzape and Katampe, to the aggressive expansion towards Lugbe, Kuje, and even Abuja Kaduna corridors, one thing is very certain. Opportunities are no longer only in the obvious places, they are in emerging corridors. What we are seeing today is a shift. Real estate is no longer just about buying land and waiting to see if you can resell. It's now about data and the decision that data drives or is able to drive because of AI. It's about understanding the market cycle, and it's about you being able to identify emerging corridors before they become mainstream. All right. So in Abuja, especially, the smart investors are not asking questions like, where is everyone buying? Right? They are asking questions like, where will everyone be buying in the next 3 to 5 years? So here's a question for you as we go through today's conversation with our panelists. Are investors seeing these opportunities early enough, or are they reacting too late? And that's exactly what today's conversation is about: emerging opportunities and how you, as an investor in the real estate industry, can position yourself ahead of the curve. We have an incredible panel of experts who will help us break down, from the position and perspective of valuation, as well as the investment strategy perspective. On my panel today, I have ESV Anthony Opara. He's a distinguished estate surveyor and valuer and a partner at Kachi Opara & Co., a reputable firm with offices in Abuja, Lagos, Port Harcourt, and Enugu. With over 26 years of active experience in real estate practice, he has built deep expertise across property valuation, advisory, and real estate management. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, reflecting his professional excellence and commitment to the industry standards. Anthony holds a bachelor's degree in estate management from Abia State University and a master's degree in environmental management from Federal University of Technology, Minna, obtained in 1998 and 2007 respectively. He continues to play a significant role in Nigeria's real estate sector, contributing his wealth of knowledge and experience to professional practice and industry development. Please let's welcome ESV Anthony Opara. Our second panelist.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome to our conversation table. Our second panelist for tonight is no other person than Barrister John Olisa. He's a seasoned lawyer, real estate entrepreneur, and thought leader in Nigeria's property sector. With years of practical experience and a strong record of closing high-value property transactions, he has earned a reputation for helping clients and investors such as yourself unlock wealth through strategic real estate opportunities. He's also the author of the impactful book, How to Make Money in Real Estate in Nigeria, a practical guide for investors and aspiring real estate professionals seeking to understand and profit from the Nigerian market. At the heart of John's mission is a deep commitment to equipping people with knowledge, strategies, and mindset needed to thrive in real estate and turn insight into measurable financial success. And we also have on our conversation table as well yourselves. And this amazing webinar has been sponsored by Exclusive Estate. Exclusive Estate is a real estate investment company that not only deals with development, brokerage, but also investment, and ensuring that the investors have, the substantive intelligence that they need to make the right data-driven decisions and also get return on their investment. And I had introduced myself earlier as well. I'm really excited to moderate the conversations that will go on tonight. So I want to celebrate every single person that is here today. Please, can you just drop in the comment section where you are connecting with this webinar from? If it's Lagos, Nigeria, Abuja, Nigeria, or you are in the diaspora, please let us know. We are so excited to have you join this conversation tonight. Without further ado, I want us to set the tone for today's conversation. And it's going to be question based. The conversations are going to be question based driven. And I have a few questions that I want to throw to our distinguished panelists. They will converse with us. But a few house rules. Please ensure that your mics are muted at all times. And towards the end of the conversation with our panelists, the audience would have the opportunity to ask live questions, anything that you need direction or clarity on. And the team tonight is ready to answer your questions in real time. All right, so let's get into our first question for tonight. Admin, please, can you put the hotspot on both my panelists and myself, on the three of us, so that everyone can see who is talking? All righty, so let's head over to our first question. And this question goes to both my panelists. It says, from a professional perspective, what exactly is driving Abuja's real estate market right now? And what makes it such a hotspot for investors today? ESV, Anthony, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I don't care. Go ahead,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Anthony Opara, as already introduced by the moderator. Abuja has been a hotspot. I mean, been a very strategic location. Let me use that word. Since the creation of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory in 1976, it has been slow, but due to the relocation of Abuja, the relocation of the administrative headquarters of Nigeria from Lagos to Abuja in 1991 by then President Ibrahim Babangida, there has been rapid population growth, there has been rapid expansion, there has been high demand of properties. In fact, as we speak today, the planning of Abuja, they were thinking that Abuja will not take up to 2.5 million people. As we speak today, Abuja has over 7 million people, both within the town and the suburb. So the population is what is driving, is really driving the market. The population of Abuja at the time in 2015 was said to be the highest growing city in Africa based on World Bank statistics. You can check it out. So Abuja has been growing rapidly. Population has been growing rapidly. Why? The expansion process, that's demand for property or development coming up, have been slow. So there has been, because of the shortfall of the supply in the market and the demand is high, there has been increase in value, because this has to do with supply and demand. When the demand is higher than the supply, the natural economics, prices keep going up. So that's what we're experiencing. And another thing that made it an investment friendly atmosphere is the cost of construction. A lot of people are not building now. A lot of people are not, because of the economic condition in the country. And if you go to the development control, which is where you get the permit approval to develop any property in Abuja, you will find out that since 2019, it has been declining approval. People are applying for approval. Maybe later I will send those documents to you. It has been declining. Why? Because a lot of people don't the capacity or the financial capacity to develop properties. People, the purchasing power, let me use that word again, that people cannot afford to build houses. So it has made the few ones available to be more expensive, especially the rental values. So that's why Abuja remains a hotspot, remains an emerging market, remains a profitable arena for any real estate investor. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. We heard the voice, but we are yet to see the face. So, sir, please, can you just help us to put on your video? Thank you so much. All right, so we'll leave that question to Barrister John as well. From your professional perspective, sir, why is the Abuja real estate market, a hotspot for investors today?
Thank you so very much, Barrister Fisayo. So firstly, let's talk about the real estate markets generally in Nigeria. According to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics 2025 report, real estate was the third largest contributor to the GDP of Nigeria, just behind trade and crop production. Real estate contributed about 58.16 trillion naira to the Nigerian economy, and following that was telecommunications and information service at 31.43 trillion and livestock at 25.66 trillion. Real estate has come to say real estate it predates the stock market. It predates almost every business we have. So real estate has always been there and it will always be there. Then the major thing, as my colleague has said, still has to do with population. According to the World Population Review of 2026, Abuja is the third largest city in Nigeria. It's the 18th largest city in Africa. You need to know the major thing that drives real estate. The first thing is population. Why is that? Because the landmass of the world is fixed, right? The square meterage of the world is fixed. The size of land cannot increase, but the population of people keeps increasing. And the population growth rate in Abuja on a yearly basis is about 4%. So what does that tell you? There is increase in population, same size of land. That's the driver of population. Abuja is just about over 7,000 square meters, 7,000 square kilometers. So population is the first driver of real estate in Abuja. Taking also into consideration that Abuja is the federal capital territory. This is where we have the headquarters of ministries, departments, and agencies. This is where we also have so many numerous embassies, right? So population is the first driver of real estate growth in Abuja. The second thing I would say is the driver for real estate growth in Abuja is what I call infrastructural development. Infrastructural development opens up a city, and we must give credit to the current administration of the FCT under the leadership of Barrister Onyesom Wike. Since he came into office in 2023 August, has really opened up Abuja in terms of infrastructure. Infrastructure specifically now talking about roads. And the road include but are not limited to the dualization of the Mabushi Road from Mabushi, the mobile axis, up to the Erano axis, the dualization of the Kuje Gwewalada Road. We also have the dualization of the Nyanya Karuaktis, Apogudu link, and the likes. There's also the road they are working on right from Maitama, the Nikon Junction. It has been opened. It connects the center of town, the Nikon Junction, all the way to Jahi. There's the Jahi flyover. And from that Jahi, the road is going to Guarimpa, and it is scheduled that the road will get all the way to the airport. What happens when we have good infrastructure like this is that it allows ease of transportation, ease of movement, lesser commute time from office to home, which has a positive effect on real estate. So there are so many of them, but for the sake of time, I will just say this to population growth, which is going at about 4% a year, as well as infrastructure. That is it. Then can you just remind me of the second question you asked? I think you talk about emerging opportunities or the second part of the question.
All right. So you actually hit the nail on the head, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right. So it's interesting that Barrister John and ESV Anthony, you mentioned population growth and infrastructural development and demand as well as the major drivers of Abuja being a hotspot center. Now, our focus in the webinar is about emerging opportunities within Abuja, right? So which areas would you consider undervalued, and places where smart investors should be paying attention to right now?
Yeah.
I think, yes.
Okay. Can I go ahead? Can you hear
Yes,
me?
sir. Yes, we
Okay.
can, but we can't
Okay.
see you, but we can hear you.
No. I've put on all the light here. I don't know. You can't see me very well. I have to even.
Go
Can you
ahead,
see me?
sir. Go
Okay.
ahead, sir.
Good evening once more. There are a lot of opportunity, a lot of emerging markets, a lot of places in Abuja that are coming up, like the former my co-panelist John said in his last speech, because of massive infrastructure going up, a lot of opportunities are emerging, a lot of places are being opened up, a lot of people are really investing, and is ongoing. There's a place they call Apo Taffy, Apo Karishi Road. That road has been it's a vital road, is a major or a critical infrastructure that will connect the Abuja northern satellite town to the main city from Apo. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Let's go. Daddy, let's go.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me. Okay. I said the Abuja that is connecting Abuja. Can you see me now?
Yes, sir.
So that road is connecting Abuja from Apo Mechanic Village to Karishi, Orozo, Gidan Mangoro, Gidan Daya, Jukoi. Those are all emerging places. And once that road is done, if to move from Jukoi to Apo, which is part of the city center, will not take up to 10 to 8 minutes. So it's a margin area for now. People are really picking up things there. Then you talk of another good area you should look at is where they call Kiami, Idu, some areas of Kuje, Kuchako, and Kuchaku 1, 2, 3. So a lot of places that you can invest. And those places, they won't announce it when they are doing the infrastructure. So people on ground or real estate people that understand how the market works, they are the ones that are monitoring it. So these places I've called are very, very fantastic areas. Their values are reasonable now. What the selling price, let me use that word, are reasonable now. But I'm believing in the next 2-3 years, it will jump up. Hello.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
sir.
thank you.
Right, so John, over to you. Which areas would you consider undervalued, and a smart choice for investors that are in the room today to pay attention to?
All right. So one of my favorite things about Abuja real estate is that there is no bush in Abuja. Wherever you call a bush, wherever it's called town today was once bush. By my experience in the sector, I've seen so many people talk about how they had opportunities to get property in Abuja, but they called it bush. Now you need to know that in real estate, any place that is 30 minutes to the heart of town is a place for future development, according to Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. So places like Kiami are emerging opportunities. Now Kiami is just to the right, Kuje is to the left, Kiyami is to the right, if you're coming from the heart of town. And we have one of our, one as a brokerage firm, one of the companies we broker for currently has a project there. So Kiyami is an upcoming place. Why is that? Because it's just 2-3 minutes from the express road. You come out and you can head straight to town. So Kiyami is a very upcoming place, and it is driven by nearness to town and infrastructure. Another place that is an emerging point of opportunity, according to the 2025 report by Beacon Realty by TA Adegoke, is Kuje. And Kuje is driven by the fact that one, it still has the lowest price of land in Abuja. One, two, also infrastructure. Just about last week, the Minister of the FCT went there to do infrastructure. They're widening the road. There's a road going from Kuje all the way to Apo. So those are emerging areas, Kiami and Kuje. You come forward, you have the Lugbe. However, despite the fact that these are emerging areas, there are still some areas in town that are, will I say, not necessarily taking so much into consideration, which are good. For instance, the Idu Karimo axis, it's one emerging area that you should be looked into. Greatly because one of its closeness to the train station, Abuja Kaduna train station. So these are three emerging areas in Abuja real estate. Thank you.
All right,
Yeah,
let's break.
I want
Let's
to
break.
add. Can I add
Oh,
something?
go ahead.
Yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
It's not just buying land. Title is a big issue in Abuja as we speak today. I will advise that before one go into those places to acquire land or property, a thorough search should be conducted, both at ages and development control. Two, they shouldn't buy any title. Nobody should buy any title that is not FCDA. Any title that is from the area council, what's it called again? The community, they call it community land, should be avoided, please. Emerging markets, yeah, they are good, but while you are buying from there, make sure it's FCDA title, because a lot of people have lost money in that, especially in that Lugbe axis. I know people that built houses that were demolished. So please, title is key to whatever you are doing. Thank you very much.
Awesome. It's awesome you mentioned that, and that's why you are on the table tonight, sir. So, from a professional valuation perspective, or as a professional evaluation, pardon me, how can investors truly identify undervalued properties before the market catches up? I know that you have mentioned with regards to their due diligence in selecting the properties that they want to consider to invest in. But what other things do they need to identify from a valuation point of view, sir?
Okay. Thank you very much. In getting a property that has prospect, that's what you're trying to ask, that has very good prospects. I mean, you should be looking at what my former co-panelist said: uh, uh, location that is near to the city center, infrastructure development, major infra. Let me call it primary infrastructure. Let's even leave the secondary, the primary infrastructure development. What I mean by primary infrastructure, the roads that pass through those areas. That's the major routes. Whether they are dual carriage, single carriage, is there any possibility of expanding the road? Because some areas are choked already. You cannot expand. You cannot build infrastructure. It is already, how do I put it? There's no provision when they were doing those areas. no provision was made for future expansion of infrastructure. So I will advise that you look at that infrastructure, provision of infrastructure, closeness to the city center, terrain of the place. You don't go and buy inside a valley or gully and then expect that somebody, when you want to resell, somebody will give you a premium price. No. So you have to take a land surveyor to the place and look at we'll call it the terrain, or call it the topography of the area. You have to look at it. Another thing you have to consider that people don't look at is that the shape of the land. Yes, if as an expert, if I want to buy a land for somebody, I'll prefer a land that is properly shaped. There's some land that you get, they are big, but due to their shape, you cannot achieve what's it called, maximum development there. So you look at the shape of the land, you look at the topography, you look at the infrastructure. Hello, infrastructure.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, infrastructural development. We'll look at nearness to the city center. I think these are key things when you are buying the property, the things you need to look at. Thank you very much.
Awesome. I'll just follow that question up with red flags, right? So what are the red flags that when you look at valuation reports, what are red flags that investors often overlook? Now, something you said, just sparked my mind was the shape of the land. I'm sure a lot of them never considered that yes, it might be a big expanse of land, but what's its shape? So what other red flags can you identify from evaluation reports, from your experience, that investors often overlook, but they need to now hone in on? You're muted, sir.
Look at the tenure of the title. You look at the tenure. You look at the. I've said this before. You look at the authority that gave the title. Then you look at the there's the infrastructure. I've said it. Basically, that's the major things we look at. That's the things that affect value. Those things I've mentioned now. That's the things that affect value. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr.
John, so from an investment strategist and standpoint, what would you say are the most profitable real estate strategies in Abuja right now?
All right. So there are so many ways to make money in real estate in Nigeria. And what you want in real estate will determine the investment vehicle you use. If you want to make money on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, yeah, you will go into short let. And let me speak a bit about short let. Short let is what we call Airbnb. Airbnb is just a short-let brand, right? Airbnb is not the general name. So short-let is the leasing of a residential apartment for a short period of time, one day, and it can even go for a long time. Now, what makes short-let particularly attractive is the fact that it gives residents a feeling of home away from home. And short-let is very lucrative in Abuja for major reasons. There is also called service apartment. One is that shortlet is attractive sometimes to foreign embassies. Yes. Last year I worked on a deal. It was a foreign embassy that needed a service apartment. Now, in comparison to a yearly rental in that place that will have maybe a yearly rental of 10 million, on a service apartment basis, it was going for about 40 million a year. So short let is a very good one. And what are some of the factors that you need to take into consideration when doing short let? First is location. In as much as Abuja is good for real estate, not every location in Abuja is suitable for short let. The most suitable places are in the heart of town. And when I'm talking about heart of town, I'm talking about places like Mabushi, places like Asokoro, Gozape, Meitama, Wuse, Gwarimpa, the Katampes. These are the heart of town. When you are expecting guests want somewhere that is close to town. You can also consider Lube. But places like Kuje, places like Gwagwalada, places like Yanya, though may be good for maybe yearly residential rental, are not suitable for short let. So short let, the first thing you want to do is to get a good location. Get a good location. Next thing is to furnish it, or you get a property manager to manage it on your behalf. Because property management is the difference between a successful short-let transaction and a failing short-let transaction. As we speak, there's a property exclusive estate for which I'm a consultant is about to sell. Now, the tenant there is using it for short-let, but something happened. He had poor manager, and based on the poor managers, the business is not going well. Nevertheless, within the same block of flats where that shortlet is a person that has about 4 units of apartment and is having business going so smoothly. So beyond getting location, you want to get good property managers, because good property managers will play a very, very key role. They will help you to screen guests. Good property managers will help you in managing the revenue. They must be persons of integrity. Property managers will also push and market your property to someone. So you are working towards having 15 to 20 days occupancy, right? Property managers will help you to get the right staff that will help with the cleaning of the apartment, provision of laundry, and even restaurant services. So shortlet is the number one I would suggest if you want daily, weekly, or monthly income. In comparison to yearly residential rentals, shortlets have the ability to bring you about 2 to 3 to 4 times more when it is run very well. Another one is off-plan property development. A mentor I have in the real estate sector is someone who has successfully used the off-plan property development. Now, what is off-plan? Off-plan basically means keying into a property project before its commencement, right? Keying into a property project before its commencement and having the opportunity to spread payment over a period of time. So the property developers present to you their plan and they tell you, we want to do this development. Maybe it's a two-bedroom on the market, it will be about a 50 million, but they tell you you can come in at a 35 million, give us a 10 million initial deposit, then spread your payment over 2 years. I know people who have done it. This my mentor, there was a time he entered the project at 50 million and he spread payment over a period of time. And when he came out of the project, in about 2 years, it was about 130 million. Another one he entered at 75 million and construction started even before the completion of the project in advanced CACAs, he sold it for about 200 million. So off plan is very good. Off plan is very good. And that's you are buying the properties not to live in it, but you are buying it to sell it, to sell it, to sell it. But there are some things that you need to look at. You need to look first at the credibility of the developer. The credibility of the developer. Does the developer have a track record of starting projects and finishing it? Have they already successfully executed project? Those are factors you want to consider. Credibility is very key. And that's one thing we do in exclusive estate. That's one thing exclusive estate does. Exclusive estate, beyond being a brokerage firm, trying to get to the property of your desire, also helps you in screening to know the most suitable companies that will be best for you for your property, for your off-plan property development. So I've spoken about shortly and I've spoken about off-plan property development. And the last but not the least, which I want to just speak about before I hand over back to you, has to do with the normal yearly residential rentals. And there is no big deal to it. It is something that almost every Nigerian stays in. According to a Pishon report, 80% of Nigerians live in yearly residential apartments. So you want to get an apartment or you want to build, you want to construct, and you want to put it out on a yearly rental basis. It's very important. It's a good one. irrespective of where you do it, you will still be profitable, because everybody needs rental apartment. As people are moving out from one, people are moving into one. So these are the three I want to talk about in passing. Short let, if you want daily, weekly, monthly income. Yearly residential rental, if you don't want to go into the daily stress of managing a property, you just want your yearly income. And the last but not the least is off-plan property development. You want capital appreciation, you want increase, you want return on investment on 100, 200, 300%, and over 2 years. Off-plan property is good. And at Exclusive Estate, we can help you in brokering such deal. Thank you so very much, Madam Moderator. Over to you.
Awesome. It's awesome you mentioned that Exclusive Estate is positioned to help investors right on this table, right? So there's something that I take home from this conversations is the beauty of advisory, having professional advisory on your corner or in your corner, right? So as an investor, you want to make sure that you have the right team of professionals like the consultants on the table working with Exclusive Estate to ensure that you get the best and the highest ROI. Now, on a practical level, Barrister John, a client here has 50 million naira, and they say to us, how do we make our first entry? How do we deploy this 50 million? You've given us three fantastic ideas, but how do we practically use this money? Would you say off plan? Would you say land banking, which is something that a lot of them know? Or would you say the shortlet? Or, how would you deploy it if it was you? And, that's the free advice that they get and the benefit of being in this webinar today.
All right. So thank you very much for that. Your capital, to a very great extent, determines how much you can do. So I said some things about shortlet, but one thing you need to know about shortlet is that it is capital intensive, because you need to buy in a good location, in a top location. You may not be able to get a good shortlet property for 10 million, because you not only need to buy the property, you need to furnish it top notch. But furnishing also plays a very key role in success or failure. If I have a 50 million, what would I do? I will split it. I will split it. Some for capital appreciation and some for instant income. So for capital appreciation, I can look for a project, right? An off-plan project, right? That I have the opportunity to pay. I have the opportunity to pay over some years. One. So if it's a project that's maybe a 40 million and I can spread over 2 years, I can buy I can start with a 10 million, then spread payment over the years. The next one I want to talk about, which I did not explain because there are about 12 ways to make money in real estate in Nigeria, is one I will talk about, which is property flipping. Many people do not know about property flipping, but I know people who have successfully used that. Just 2 days ago, I went out with a mentor of mine, a boss of mine, and we visited a site and we're speaking with an architect who is doing a property development. And that is his own model that he has used successfully. He buys the property, externals already done, but internal, he now models it to a very top class taste and sells it. So if I have a 50 million, I will do an off plan, then I'll do a property development. Now do a property flipping. Now, how will this property flipping go? I'll look for a good property in a good place. Which one is undervalued? I will look for a buyer who is possibly having a distress sale, whether they want to relocate, whether they want to move into another investment. Then I'll go in at a distress sale price, get it, work on it, make it beautiful, put it back on the market and sell. One thing you need to know about property flipping is that in property flipping, you should know the market value. You work with an estate surveyor and land valuer to help you value the property. And the goal is to buy it below its price, its market value, do some quick renovations, refurbishing, and put it back in the market. So if I have a 50 million, I will split it. If I have a 50 million, I'll split it between off plan that have the opportunity to spread payment over 1, 2 years, and also I will put it into property flipping. If I have some money left, I will look for a very good location for land banking and just put the money there. Allow it to appreciate. When it grows, I sell, I go into the cycle again. So in real estate, it is not a matter of this or that. It should be more of a matter of this and that. So it's not about I choose this or this. If they can go together, do them. Thank you very much.
I love that. It's not a matter of this or that, it's a matter of this and that. Awesome. All right, so we did promise that we would have live audience questions for our panelists to answer. So if you have a question, please go ahead to raise your hand or type the question in the comment section that our panelists can get a go at answering some of your questions like a real estate clinic.
Excellent evening to you all.
Right. I see a
Can I
hand
be
up.
heard?
Go ahead, Ambassador Badmos.
All right. Thank you very much for today's webinar. And I just want to ask, as a real estate company that I've been playing in Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo, and is planning to come into Abuja, what's your advice? Where can this real estate company start from? It's a real estate consultant already, been playing heavily in Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo. So coming newly into town, what's your advice? How will you advise this real estate company to play? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir, for your question. Barrister John, do you want to help us tackle that question?
All right. So as a real estate company coming into Abuja, yeah, so one, you're already doing the right thing by asking the question, which is this. So if you're coming into Abuja, the question is, what do you want to do? If you want to go into development, it will be a good one. So the first thing I would advise to do if you want to come into development is to look for a location, right, that fits what you're already doing where you're coming from. Sometimes it's not best to reinvent the wheel. It's best to work with what is already working. So you just tweak it. So if you're coming into Abuja, you say you're coming in from Ibadan or your state. So when you come into Abuja, if you want to start with property development, look for a good space where if you construct today, people will even buy out before you finish marketing it or before you even finish constructing it. And most importantly, that's where exclusive estate comes in. So exclusive estate, beyond doing property brokers, we also give paid consultancy services where we can do a detailed report on whatever you want to do. So if you want to do a property development, we'll now give you a detailed report and tell you in so locations, some areas can do 50% in 1 year, some areas can do 100% in 1 year. I'm talking about in terms of development. So basically, that is what I will say. Just come to Abuja, replicate what you're already doing where you're coming from. Take a look at the market, what is working, and I believe if you push that, you'll make serious progress. I hope I could answer your question, Mr. Ambassador Adekunle Badmos.
Thank you. Thank you. We own real estate. We own real estate in several locations in large landmarks, and we are in the last 16 years we have built over 5,000 houses. we do development too. And thank you for your advice. We are planning, and thanks to Barrister Peter for inviting us on this webinar. Thank you very much. So
You're most welcome. You're most welcome.
thank you very much.
Awesome. I see Nancy's hand is also up. You can unmute and then ask your question.
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay. Sorry, there's no light here. There's no need of putting up my video. My name is Nancy. Thank you for the opportunity to be in this great meeting. I am a rector. My question is, I've been doing this real estate for a while, but I've been facing, I know it's a normal thing, you tell me there's challenges. I've been facing some challenges. But this platform now, I want to ask, what is it that I'm not doing well, that I've not been able to deal or grow in this area of real estate? Because I have properties that I market. I will have clients that come for it. But just between a very thin line to seal the deal, at the end of the day, all the effort will just be in vain. Not really in vain, but all the effort, I won't really have anything to speak about it. It will just, either the client will end up not buying, or one thing, or the owner will increase the price or something. So I said, let me use this opportunity and ask, why is it like this? What is it that I'm doing that I've not been able to break through? Thank you. That's
All
my
right.
question.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for that honest and real question. First of all, I'll say hang in there, right? There's something that my mentor told me when I was starting out in real estate. He says, keep tilling the ground until you hit the gusher. You have to keep drilling and digging until you find gold. All right. But whilst you wait, I want to believe that Barrister John or Surveyor Kachi Opara have, words of wisdom for you to just keep you, above water. Barrister John or okay, let's have Surveyor Kachi just share.
Okay, yeah, thank you once more. I listened to what Nancy was saying. I think it has to do with what we are selling is information. Once you have a property, and you're not going to carry that property and be going around telling people that this land, I'm carrying it on my car. I want to sell it like other. Is it movable? So my sister, mostly from what I understand, mostly that if you are dealing on a property, get all the information. That's what we call full disclosure. Get all the information and put before the buyer. This land is 1,000 square meter. The owner is selling 500 square meter that is behind the first row. The title will be deed of assignment. The owner is not ready. Just give full disclosure so that you don't waste your time, market something, and then at the age of breaking or age of concluding, another information comes up that will discourage the buyer. Two, when you are dealing in real estate, just know at the back of your mind, either you are dealing with either you are, can you
Hear you.
hello?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing is that people don't deal with the owners. They don't have direct briefs. What I mean by direct brief is that I don't market what I don't have direct instruction. Either I'm acting for the direct seller, I'm acting for the seller or I'm acting to the buyer. I don't want to act in between. This in between thing has caused a lot of issues. Has caused, maybe you don't know the seller, you don't know the buyer. You're just acting in between, waiting for the day the thing will conclude and you get fees from both sides. It is a very problematic position if you want to continue that way in real estate. Try and make sure either you're acting on the buyer side, you know the buyer very well, is your direct instruction. You get all the full information, and then, or you're acting for the seller. Your seller knows you very well, has given you full information of what he wants to buy, so that when you are sourcing for it, you have all the information at your disposal, that when people ask you questions, you respond. You don't need to go back to anybody to ask questions. The person will not go back. So Nancy, just look at this scenario. That's from my own experience. That's what I've seen, the way you narrated it now. That's what I envisage. I'm very sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So Nancy, from what Surveyor Opara is saying, is that maybe the question you should be asking is, how do I position myself to be in a place with buyers and sellers? All right. Yeah, Barrister John, over to you.
All right. So I'll say a statement that has helped me in my real estate journey and I'll build on it. It was a mentor of mine in the sector that said, he said, consistency leads to credibility, and credibility leads to currency. Consistency leads to credibility, and credibility leads to currency. Now, there are so many ways to make sales in real estate, but one of the major ways is consistency. Now, Nancy, well, I don't want you to get discouraged, because you need to know that real estate is a game of numbers. You get 10 people and one person buys. So don't get discouraged. You need to push it. You need to keep pushing. But the point is this: once you keep on showing up every day, this is one thing I've used and it has helped me. Once you keep on showing up every day, people start associating you with real estate and they will ultimately come and meet you. But one way that can differentiate you is to be someone who adds value to people. Everybody or anybody can come and say, come and buy property. Abuja is littered with 1,000,001 realtors. You know, in Abuja, you don't need any qualification as such before you can be a realtor. Being a realtor is not a regulated profession like being a surveyor, being a lawyer, and the like. Anybody can be a realtor. So the question now is, how are you going to differentiate yourself from so many people? The major thing you need to do, which I suggest, is that be a person of value. What do you know about real estate? Be a knowledge-driven person who gives insight to people about real estate. When people think about real estate, you should be the first person that comes to mind. So don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. The benefits are quite encouraging when they come. But the whole thing is just to test your resolve. But keep pushing out. As Estate Surveyor Opara said, to a very great extent, avoid long chains. Endeavor to work with either the direct seller or the direct buyer. Because from my experience in the sector, many times, every successful deal I done in real estate sector, I was in direct touch with the seller or direct touch with the buyer. So that is what you should work for. Once you start having long chains, it's just a waste of time. So avoid long chains, one, and two, be consistent by positioning yourself as an authority in the sector. And when people know you, like you, trust you, they will be able to patronize you. So that's my word of advice for you, Nancy. Thank you.
All righty, Nancy. So, in summation, the business of real estate is the business of information, and I dare say to ask it's the business of trust, right? And so just keep positioning yourself as somebody who is credible, and who is knowledge based, and you attract your clients. And like Barrister John rightly said, the first deal that you seal or the one that you close will make up for all the time that you have spent, just working out, going back to the drawing board, reworking your strategy, positioning yourself, and staying positive and hopeful. All right. Finally, I have questions, the last questions for the panelists before we call it a night. I want to thank all the audience for giving in their questions. All right. So, in a nutshell, Estate Surveyor Anthony, where do you see Abuja real estate in the next 5 to 10 years? And what should we be looking forward to doing in preparation for that future?
Abuja real estate market in the next 5 years is going to be a market for, still call it a buyer's market, solely buyer's market, because there are a lot of products will be in the market. And if I should, if I, from my own personal opinion, that's my personal, if the FCDA can do more districts, open up more districts, I mean, like we saw in the budget this year, they said they are going to open up Maitama 2. We've not seen them do anything. It's in the budget of 2026. I mean, if you open up Maitama 2, that's the biggest district. It's like putting Maitama, Alsokoro, and Wusetu together and then opening it up. So it's going to be it's going to bring in a lot of properties in the market. Then I think Abuja is still a growing city. Can't compare with Lagos. So in the next 5 years, still an emerging market. A lot of people are coming up. We've not touched so many areas in Abuja. We've not touched so many areas. Like if you go to Katampe Extension, behind Katampe Extension, there's some districts that are still opening up. They've not even done 10% of it. So in the next 5 years, yes, Abuja is still growing. In the next 10 years, Abuja will still be growing. You can't compare with Lagos that have stretched up to Ogun and how do I call it, Ogun and some neighboring states. Abuja is still a virgin, a fertile place to be, still a place to speculate. And the time for the speculation is now. If you want to really make money in Abuja, time to invest is now. I know I'm telling you this because there's an excess supply now of land by the present administration. They've done the highest number of allocation I've ever seen since I came to Abuja. So the market is a bit saturated. Yes, you can make more money, but I know that this is the time to really invest. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Barrister John?
Please, can you kindly repeat the question?
So where do you see the Abuja real estate market in the next 5 to 7 years?
Yes, thank you so very much. So I see the market growing. I align with Estate Surveyor Opara. Infrastructure, if it continues growing at the pace at which it is growing, it will keep expanding the city. In comparison with Lagos, Lagos is the smallest state in Nigeria in terms of land mass, and ironically is the largest state in Nigeria in terms of population. In comparison with Abuja, Abuja is twice the size of Lagos in landmass. So I agree with my colleague that Abuja is still opening up. Abuja is still opening up. In the next 5 years, Abuja, you just need to take a drive. You just need to take a drive to some places, the Kuje, the Kiami, the Idu, the Meitamatu, the Abaji, the Kwali, the Ushafa, the Buhari. Abuja still has large expanses of land. So Abuja is still a growing market, but one thing I would just say is that in looking at your investment, it's better to buy to the closest place that has seen development. That's if you want to do something like land banking or just want to start up. So Abuja is still growing, and you have the opportunity to do it in the heart of town if your finances are there, or if they are not up to that place, go to the places that are coming up. So that is my view. If we continue with the state of infrastructural development at the rate at which it is going. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. As we round off today, I believe that one thing is clear, and it's just a reminder to everyone listening to us that this was not just a conversation, it was a direction, right? Abuja is moving, it's growing, and there is high demand for this red clay that we call Abuja. And the real question is, will you be moving alongside with it? Abuja is not just growing, it's actually evolving. I say evolving because of the alarming speed that Abuja is going and how the prospects are just endless. I mean, you heard it from Surveyor Opara directly that the highest number of allocations were done in this administration. I heard a personal testimony of one of my clients, who had said, oh, he would invest in other areas apart from Abuja. And the moment he decided to invest in Abuja, I think the land at that time was maybe 30 million. And before he could say Jack Robinson, infrastructure development had just started, just kicked off, just right when he bought that land at 30 million. And if I tell you how much that land is valued at today, it's valued at 300 million naira. And he says to me every time, thank God I took that decision to invest. All right. And with that evolution comes opportunity for those who are informed, those who are prepared, and those who are decisive. Real estate remains one of the most powerful tools for wealth creation, but only when approached with the right strategy. You've heard our panelists today. They have shared strategy, they've shared information, insight, and wisdom from their years of experience, both from the valuation perspective and also from a real estate investment and legal perspective. All right. And so on behalf of the exclusive estate team, I want to sincerely thank our panelists, Barrister John and Estate Surveyor Anthony Opara, for sharing your valuable insights today, and to everyone who joined us today. The next step is not just to listen, but to act. And at Exclusive Estate, our product line will be displayed shortly with our contact info to let you know that the time to collaborate, the time to invest is now. Admin, please play our videos so that our esteemed audience can see the opportunities available in Abuja that we have for them.
It's just like a replica of that. Yeah. The excavation is already going on, and we are moving heavily into this place. We are not sleeping on this project. We have a target. I want to ensure that we meet our target on this particular project so that we can move on to the next. It's a viable one. Our investors, you can key into this. This is something that you will not regret. This is something that I am sure, I'm not guessing, right? Get huge return, and if it's cash flow you need, this is what will generate a good cash flow for you. So do well to key into this before.
Admin, is that all you have for us?
Please hold on.
Alrighty. On that note, we want to say thank you so much for being a part of our webinar today. Our contact informations are, posted on the comment section. You can follow us on Instagram at Exclusive Estate and on Facebook, or reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'll be delighted to just help you through your real estate investment decision. Until our next webinar, please stay in touch. We have WhatsApp channels that just show you some of the investment opportunities that we have available in Abuja. God bless you and have a good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very insightful
Thank
session.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate.
Now, person, I will bring that in show you.